Hey, how's it going? Garrett Johnson, FTT210, week number 6. So we're going to be working with the trigger assembly, the trigger guard, and then we're going to be shaping the the back of the buttstock, which I've got a lot of work to do there. So yeah, I was lucky enough though that the trigger assembly basically fit right in there, and I don't really think I need to do anything. It fits in there. As the text says, I only got to inlay it as far enough as to sit flush here from the factory. It still fits in this groove here. So as far as the trigger assembly goes, I think I am set. Moving on to the trigger guard next, and I'll see what we have to do here. It looks like I got more work to do there, because that is, gosh, just not really lining up any good way. Got a lot of material to remove. I don't know if it's better to start here and work backwards. That's probably the best way. So, sorry, a lot of that was off camera, but yeah, wish me luck. So, update on my rear pin situation. I did just come in from the other side. That side's the ugly side. We'll have to patch that or something. So from last week, there's my front pins in, down in there, down in there. My trigger guard screw barely fits through. So wish me luck now. Well, I don't mean to complain and be a stupid naysayer, but like, when I inlet this, it fit good. Now that this is all in here, the barrel is screwed down to the trigger assembly. One, it's got to go in there stupid deep for it to fit. I should have seen this coming, but now my hammer assembly doesn't fit by a lot. So I don't know if I should inlet this the rest of the way. I don't know. Hey, Garrett Johnson here. Oh, let me turn my fan off. Garrett Johnson, FTT210. Despite all my setbacks with the hammer, I just kept going with shaping the buttstock. I had like, gosh, half of an inch to remove to inlet here. You can see I got a pretty sloppy inletting job here. I'm gonna have to put some filler in, but I'm pretty happy with the shape job here. There's some gouges a little bit, where I went a little crazy with my belt sander. There's just no way I would have spent 24 hours with a rasp trying to get this all done. But looks pretty good. See if I can get an angle this way. Pretty much inlet there. I haven't really looked ahead, but I imagine in future lessons here, we're gonna have to finish sand. So I'm okay with some of the small gouges in the stock that I got from my belt sander. My belt sander setup is probably not exactly OSHA approved. It is a belt sander that I put into my vise, so it worked. I had like got 100 grit on the paper here, and yeah, just sand it away. I'm gonna go back into the house where my actual gun shop is, and inlet the trigger guard here with some chisels and stuff. I can't use a belt sander on that, but all right, have a great night. Oh, hi there. I am just screwing down the trigger guard. that inletted pretty easy. I elected to inlet the wood instead of the brass. I coated these screws in some, it's actually reloading wax, but I think wax is pretty much wax. Don't think it matters much. The screws are going in pretty easy. I'm going to have to get a hold of the instructor and see what they recommend for my problems. So here's my issue. The thread of the trigger guard that comes through the top barely engages. Okay. I had inlet this and it fit good. It wasn't too tight. But now that I had tightened up the barrel ears for the pins, now this hammer assembly does not fit. You can see I'm tight against there, and now I've got it won't go in there. So I think that there's a couple of solutions. You can inlet more on the bottom side here, but then I'm worried that this cross screw won't line up with the hammer assembly. I guess another option could be if, well, this is the side I buggered up, but maybe I could screw a hole bigger here, kind of make a slot for this to slide into on both pins to raise up the barrel, and then my screw is not going to be tall enough. So I'm in a pickle. I don't really know what to do, so I said I'm going to get a hold of an instructor next week. In the meantime, I think I'm going to turn this in as it is. What I did not sand down is this, because if I'm going to have to end up raising up this barrel, then I didn't want it to stay proud of the wood. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it for practical application number 2. I do like how this is coming together. Wish it was a little bit smoother for me, but I'm not beating myself up too hard. Anyways, have a great evening, great weekend, and we'll see you next week.